Hello, this is Zoe Alvarado, and welcome to Odessa After Dark, May 7th. On today's show, Miranda Sanders and Daniel Ryan will investigate the case of Rene Escobar, who 4 years ago vanished off the face of the earth. And I will interview Angela Williamson of the MidCities Paranormal Network. And we will stop by the local business, the Briar Patch. Okay, so first off, tell us about your group.
My paranormal group is MidCities Paranormal Network. It's compiled of myself, Miranda Sanders, Crystal Buchanan, and Sam. We also have guest investigator Kayla, and Daniel Ryan is also guest investigated with us. Basically what our group does is performs investigations in residential and business locations where paranormal activity may be suspected.
Oh, okay. So is there any personal reason of why you'd want to start a paranormal group?
Well, I personally formed the group with Miranda Sanders last year, actually around this time. We'll be celebrating our birthday here fairly soon. And my personal intention was just to try and provide a little bit of assistance to people who have battled with their spiritual demons, whatever they may be. I personally have dealt with encounters with spirit throughout my life in different areas, both personal life and business life, and the rest of my team members have as well. And it's something that, unfortunately, because a lot of it is unexplainable, we do want to try to do our best to try and provide as much explanation for a homeowner or a business owner to try and ease their mind about the activity that may be going on.
So what areas have you been to exactly?
Well, we basically service the West Texas region, so it's pretty much a 200-mile diameter throughout around Midland and Odessa. We've been to cities away as far as Stiles and Texon. We did an investigation at an oil rig out there and a cemetery. We've done quite a few business investigations here in Odessa, a couple at the Ector Theater, a couple at the Rio Theater, which are always great because you get to get into a local establishment that has been here for at minimum 60 plus years. So there's a lot of history in the buildings that we do investigate, and that's the reason that we do.
And to clarify with some people, what do you consider to be a ghost?
Well, technically in the paranormal world, they are not often referred to as ghosts. We usually refer to them as spirit. Spirit can be something that existed on this earth, or it could be of a greater power, whether that be higher or lower. It really depends on your system of beliefs. Spirit is interpreted on an individual basis. So what one person may interpret as a spirit, as a protective spirit, somebody that's there to watch over them, someone else may interpret as more of a controlling spirit. But essentially, spirit is just a non-physical energy form that can take on characteristics based off of how it would like to present itself.
We're actually here at the Ector Theater, a place that you've been here before. Can you tell us about some examples of what you found?
Well, haunted is a term that we really don't like to throw around loosely. We would like to have as much evidence as humanly possible to provide that type of statement. From what we have gathered, we have caught some great EVPs here. EVP stand for electronic voice phenomenon. And essentially what that is it's a voice that you're not going to hear live, but it would be captured on some type of media recording device, whether that be a digital voice recorder or a camera, something to that effect. We have caught a few EVPs here that were pretty astonishing. One was actually spoken over another investigator as she was describing an area of the building that she was in. And it was clear as day, really strong, and not of the voice of any of our investigators here. To me, that was a pretty substantial piece of evidence. A lot of people have issues with the paranormal realm in the era of orbs. Orbs can be misidentified as dust or as moisture in the air. So those are areas that we really try to avoid claiming as paranormal. But we did have a couple orbs that we can definitely justify are paranormal orbs. They put off their own light source. They are spherical in shape, sometimes even somewhat plasmatic, like the balls of liquid in a lava lamp. They can sometimes often have faces within inside the circle or different shapes within the side of the circle, and can present in different color tones as well. We did capture a few orbs here that presented as round blue luminescent objects. The team was split up into different groups. Miranda was actually up here on the second level up this spiral staircase, and she was describing the area and her feelings at the time while she was in the area. She had passed a window that the glass had been broken out of. We're not really sure how it happened, but when she was describing the glass, she used very particular terminology. She was saying that it looked like the window had been pushed out and there were pieces of glass on the floor. Now, when she was making this statement, at the end of it, she was describing she was a little bit uneasy, feeling a little bit awkward, and right over her voice at that time, a woman's voice, kind of in an echoey type tone, says, "The window is broken." So it was very intriguing, very interesting, and you will hear on the recording that Miranda doesn't even acknowledge that she heard the voice. So that is what we would classify as an EVP.
If people wanted more information, where could they find you?
Well, you know, in the day and age of social media, that's always our first step. If they're on Facebook, they can find us on Facebook. Our page is titled MidCities Paranormal Network. We also have a YouTube channel with the same user ID, MidCities Paranormal Network. That's where we keep all of our EVP evidence. Or they can contact us on our website directly, which is www.midcitiesparanormalnetwork.org. They can call me if they'd like to join the team, or they can email me. My email address is mzwilumsun09@yahoo.com, or they can contact me via phone at 432-349-8653.
Thank you for being here.
Hello, from this spot, Rene Escobar Sanchez on July 12th, 2008 disappeared. He was in his garage at 11 p.m. the last time his wife saw him, and then he left. Basically disappeared from the face of the earth. So far there's been no leads. There's been no real follow-up as far as what's happened to Mr. Sanchez. He left behind his wallet, he left behind his keys, he left behind his car, and he left behind his family, who's desperately trying to find out what's happened to him. It's now going to be 4 years in July. So what has happened to Mr. Sanchez? Hi, I'm Daniel Ryan, and I'm here with Susan Rogers of Crime Stoppers, and we're talking about the missing person, Rene Escobar Sanchez. And so far, Susan, what we know from what we've read in the Odessa American, which wasn't very much, that he went missing on July 12th.
Yes.
It'll be 4 years coming up here. And he basically was in his backyard, in his garage. They had a barbecue, according to his mother-in-law. And he just had a few drinks and wandered away, never to be heard from again. And according to two sources, he left his phone, his truck, his keys, and his wallet. And so we were doing some sublimation, kind of thinking like, okay, so where has Rene gone? What has he done? What is he thinking? And so my first question to you is, do you know anything that we don't know?
Well, there's been a lot of due diligence done on this case, a lot of investigation, a lot of time has gone into it because law enforcement believes that something, that he is endangered, that something has happened. You know, it's not normal for people to just walk away from everything. It's not normal to walk off and leave your cell phone. It's not, you know, when people disappear, which people can disappear if that's what they choose to do, but they usually take personal items with them. You know, they've got their driver's license, they've got, you know, things like that. They might leave their keys in their truck or whatever, walking away from a car payment, you know, whatever like that. But they don't leave, you know, their ID.
I wouldn't leave my
wallet.
phone.
Yeah.
Because
In this
even
day
if I
and
was
time,
up to
most
no
people wouldn't
good,
leave their phone.
I would have my
Exactly.
phone. Drug dealers, you know,
Yeah.
they love their phone.
I know, they throw them away to do something. But,
Right.
You know, and you always do that. Plus, he had a couple of young kiddos, you know, and his family says that that's not the norm. I mean, you know, his daughter was getting ready for, I believe, at that point, if I'm correct, I think she was graduating from kindergarten that year or something to that effect. So there were quite a few things, you know,
And there was
that to look forward to.
Right,
you
there
know,
was
in
a
his life.
1-year-old in the house at the
Right,
same time.
little baby, and
Mhm.
I believe one of the children was like in a pre-K graduation or something to that effect. But anyway, there were several things family oriented to look forward to that he was looking forward to going to. Was supposed to be a family man. I've spoken with the wife and with the mother, and you know, real family man, that sort of thing. So it is unusual for someone to just disappear like that. Like I said, there's been a lot of due diligence done, and new information has was developed by investigators with the Odessa Police Department that indicate that his wife is not the last person that saw him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We actually have an acquaintance by the name of Miguel Venegas, who they've determined is the last person to have seen him alive.
At what time?
Later in that evening, sometime that evening.
Do you know where?
Have no idea.
Okay, do we know where Miguel is?
Miguel was living here in Odessa. I know that he may have gone to San Angelo. Apparently, he has some ties to San Angelo, and there's possibilities in the San Angelo area. But investigators have uncovered some information that leads them to believe that Miguel Venegas is going to be the last person to have seen him alive.
Okay, so the first question is Miguel a suspect?
Well, I would say Miguel's probably a person of interest. You know, you're a suspect until law enforcement rules you out.
Okay.
So I don't know how much further in their investigation they've gotten. It is a very active, ongoing investigation. Where it's technically a cold case, it's an active case right now.
Well, because that's something new, and so that's pretty exciting, especially if you're the family waiting to find out
Right.
what. So we know now that at least he left and he had a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so he, whether he wanted to go and have another drink with some friends or had a fight with somebody or just something, he had a purpose.
Yeah.
And met up with some people.
There's another person involved as far as an acquaintance that we know is.
If you know anything about what happened to Rene Sanchez on the night of July 12th or his affiliation with Miguel, please call Crime Stoppers. The number will appear at the end of our interview with Susan, and we have it on our website, westtexastalent.com. We have a special link to Odessa After Dark, and we also have a special page of the missing persons that currently are missing in Odessa. So, anything to add?
Just any help, you know, these kind of crimes. If something has happened to Mr. Sanchez, you know, most people can't keep their mouth shut about it. People talk. People talk about what happened or where they were. It might be something as simple as I saw him that night, or he was with someone that night, or something to that effect. And they think that it's just a tiny bit of information they've got that's not going to help us. A lot of times that's the link. That's the piece of information that we need to be able to give to law enforcement to connect things together, to figure out exactly what happened. You know, it may be just that little piece of information that someone has that you really don't think means anything.
Well, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. If you don't have all the pieces, you
It
can't
makes
find
no
out what
sense.
happened to Rene.
Exactly.
And so one little piece, as you're saying, could be,
What we
I
need.
know.
The aha moment.
And so it's interesting 4 years later now that this little piece of information comes out. And so it's nice to know that the Odessa Police Department are still working this case.
Absolutely. There is a detective assigned to this case and has been for a while. These kind of things, you have to wait. You know, you do all the due diligence and all the footwork you can do, and you chase down all the leads that you've got. And if you've got no other leads to go, nowhere else to go, the investigation kind of comes to a standstill. In this case, the detectives have been able to come up with little pieces of things and piece some of that puzzle back together. And like I said, they are continuing to work on it. They have never not been working on this case, and they're doing a good job putting it together. But we need the public's help.
Well, it's just a hard case because basically all the information was that he just left and nobody came forward.
Right.
And nobody knew what happened. And so this little information with Miguel means,
It's a lot.
It
means a lot. And someone else was probably there with them. Who knows what went on, where they went, or what happened. But somebody knows. Somebody out there knows, and somebody needs to know that there's a family out there that's missing a dad. There's a wife out there that's missing a husband. There's a mother out there that's deeply missing her son. And you got to put yourself in that family's place. If it was your family member that was missing and somebody else knew something about it, you would want someone.
Thank you very much, Susan, for all the information. Now it's up to you, and so pass this video on to your friends, pass them on to your acquaintances, post Rene's picture, and so let's find out what happened to Rene for his family.
The owner of the Briar Patch, which is on 1215 East 8th Street. So Diana, tell us about your store today.
Well, we have a mix of antiques and primitive vendors, a boutique side as well. Something for everybody. A little bit for grandmas, moms, and babies too.
Tell us about this section over here, because I really love this tea set. All these wonderful things that you have here today.
Well, this is one of our antique vendors. She's got a nice collection of glassware, dishes, some furniture as well. A very unique collection here. We have others who have primitive items and just a mix of fun stuff from way back, vintage things.
Well, could you show us any of the other booths that you have here?
Okay, in this booth we have some tin signs. They're all reproductions. There's some memorabilia. And this one here is our Western booth. It's got some Western furniture, some cute signs, a little bit of ironwork, anything for your little cowboy or cowgirl's room.
Okay, so we've now moved from the antique side into the boutique, and as you can tell, it's way different than before. So could you tell us about this little area right here?
Well, this is kind of the top off for everybody. We've got your jewelry for moms and little girls. We've got some clothes for adults, got some clothes for kids. Over here we got any hair bow, any tutu, any color you need, along with some baby accessories. Got painted furniture. You name it over here, we've got it.
Thank you for letting us be here today. And how can people get a hold of you if they want to contact you about certain things, certain items?
Well, they can find us, of course, like you said, at 1215 East 8th here in Odessa. We have a Facebook page. It's Beyond the Briar Patch. You can stop by any time at the store, Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 5, Saturday, 12 to 4. Come on by and see what we got.